Welcome back, Pride Pack family. Welcome to another video on my channel. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I am really excited about today's topic. So some of you may know that I have experience working in the sports industry, and I know it's something that a lot of people are interested in getting into. So today I am coming at you with my top 10 tips about how to get in the sports industry, or things that you should know if you're trying to enter into a sports position. So yeah, let's get started. But first, if you are new here and you find this information useful, go ahead and subscribe to my channel down below. I'd love to have you. I do tons of informational videos like this about weddings, about jobs, about pretty much anything that comes to my mind about Las Vegas. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so tip number 1, take every opportunity, even if it's unpaid. Yes, I know that nobody likes to do work unpaid, but you will find that a lot of sports positions that are entry level are gonna be unpaid. Internships, that's just kind of how the sports world is, because they know that it's so competitive that people are gonna take those positions anyway if it's unpaid. So just understand that and go for it. So if there's something really interesting that's come up, if there is something from your favorite sports team, your favorite industry, your favorite, it's there, it's the target position that you want, or type of position, the department. Let's say you really want to be in sports marketing, you want to be in game production, but that position is an unpaid position. Go for it, try it out, and just know that's going to be your stepping stone. You need to put some sort of experience on your resume that's gonna start to say, yeah, I work in the sports industry. And that might be unpaid, but take every opportunity that you can. If you can manage to do multiple at one time, go ahead and do that. Let's say one job only wants you to do game days on Saturdays, so you're only gonna get 6-7 hours. Okay, why not try taking that one and something that lets you come in sometimes during the week? If it's available, go ahead and try it out. Tip number 2, volunteer. Volunteering is a great way to get sports industry experience without having to commit to a certain job, or if you already have a job and you're just trying to get more experience working with different sports teams or industries or organizations. Volunteering is a great way. When I was trying to get into the sports industry, I was actually volunteering like pretty much everywhere. Basketball tournaments, rugby, hockey, just volunteering everywhere that I could, so that I could have experience to be able to put on my resume that said that I was doing sports without having an actual job, because I wasn't able to have the sports job yet because I was doing other things. So volunteering is a great way to get that experience and learn something about sports. Volunteering also gives you the opportunity, if you're really new to sports and have no idea what you're doing, volunteering gives you a chance to see what the different sports are like behind the scenes. Because I know that you think, oh, I know everything about basketball. I watch basketball all the time. Well, trust me, it's a whole new thing, a whole new experience when you are behind the scenes. So you might find that even though you love watching basketball, you do not like working in basketball. So volunteering is a great way for you to sort of scout out and see what you actually like working for and the department that you might want to work for. Maybe you think that you want to do sales, but then you like intern or you volunteer with sales, and you might find out, well, this is not what I thought I wanted to do. Turns out I wanted to do was game operations. So something like that. So volunteering helps you sort of scout those things out. That brings me into tip number 3. Join your school's sports club if you are in college, or even high school, go ahead and join your school sports club. You probably have one. So this could be, so for example, at UNLV, I was a part of this organization I ended up being the president of, called UNLV Sports Marketing and Management Association. We were a student-led sports club that did volunteer work. So my sports club was actually how I got to do most of my volunteer activities, was because we were having good connections with other people in the industry, and they were reaching out to us about different ways that we can get involved. And so that was just the easiest, the best way for me to start getting involved, was through that organization. And also the organization will help you find those internships. And a lot of sports people, they only want to work with people who are dedicated and have connections in the sports industry already. So they actually like to reach out to these clubs and develop programs specifically with these clubs to have people come in instead of like posting jobs online. Because what you're gonna find is that a lot of jobs don't really get posted online because it's they already have programs like this for internships and stuff like that with these sports organizations from the different schools, that they just pull all of their interns and beginning level jobs through them. So definitely join your team or your school's sports club if they have one. Tip number 4, build a sports resume. So yeah, you might have a general resume that you use with most of your job applications when you're applying to just anything, but you don't necessarily want that when you're applying for the sports industry. People in the sports industry want to see proof that you have a lot of sports experience. So you want to build a resume that is catered to that sports job that you're trying to get. So for example, if you know that you really would like to do a sports marketing job, you want to cater first to the sports, then to the marketing portion. So let's say you had a job in sports, but before you were doing game operations. Okay, that's gonna go first, because even though it's not necessarily the same department, it shows that you have worked in sports before. So you want that in there. Let's say you were doing a regular volunteer experience or something like that with the sports organization. Let's say you volunteered with this local basketball tournament every single year, and you always have all this great experience with them. Put that on there. How about coaching? Let's say you coached Little League for 3 years, and that was your sports experience. Put that on there. And then sort of cater to the marketing jobs that are a little bit less. I mean, if you were like a marketing manager or you had a higher level position, okay, you might put that a little bit earlier. But if your only working experience is something that's like more lower level, maybe you just did, maybe you were just like a representative, a customer service, you know, something like that, where it's not really a super impressive position, or maybe you're really new to the workforce and you've only done some small part-time things. Yeah, you might really want to emphasize the different sports things that you've done to prove, yeah, I'm new, I'm green, but look, I've been really dedicated to wanting to be in sports. And if you played sports, that's a good thing too. Go ahead and put that on there, especially if you are applying for a team or a specific sport that you played. So let's say that you're trying to get a job in the NFL and you played football in high school or college or something like that. That is a great thing to put on your resume, because it shows that you know about the sport. Which leads right into my 5th tip, which is to understand the sports industry. Understand the sport that you're applying for. You should have a good understanding of how the stats work for the sport that you're applying for. How many games do they have? Do they only have games on the weekends? Do they have games during the week? How many people do they typically have on a team? What are the different types of things, or different types of positions that they could have in your sport? Is your sport more like a minor league team? Because if they are, maybe they're only hiring a few positions. Maybe they're not going to have a big budget. Maybe most of your job is going to be more groundwork, more maybe you're gonna have to do way more in your organization, because when it's a small organization, each individual ends up taking on way more responsibilities and way more hours and things like that than people who are part of big organizations like NFL and Major League Baseball and things that are, a major league sport. You're gonna maybe have a little bit less responsibility because you're gonna have way more people in your organization, and the division of labor is gonna be way more. So just kind of have an understanding of the sport that you're applying for, what goes into the sport, how is the game played. Like, maybe you shouldn't be applying for hockey yet if you've never watched or seen a hockey game and have no idea what's going on, because just know that when you are working for that job, you're going to have to know about that sport. There are going to be times when you're trying to sell tickets to somebody and how awesome it is to go and watch a hockey game, and you have no idea how hockey is played or how you make playoffs, things like that. So just develop an understanding of the sport that you're trying to get into. Tip number 6, put in extra hours. So what I mean by this is you don't want to be known as that person who is supposed to come and volunteer or work part-time or whatever from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. But every single day, if things start to slow down, you're like, oh, can I leave a little bit early? Or if they're like, you don't want to be that person who volunteers to leave early. There's sometimes when people, like, let's say they had too many volunteers show up and they say, oh, is there anybody who would like to go home? I know going home sounds great, but this is one of those times you do not want to be that person who goes home, because they could be testing you. A lot of things can happen. Even though they thought that they weren't going to need that many people, something can happen where, something gets all crazy, and then those people who are still there are getting more experience, more exposure. So even if they are offering you to go home, you don't want to be that person who always takes that opportunity, because it kind of shows that they don't really want to be here. They always want to go home early. So I definitely recommend that you should put in those extra hours. Don't go home early. If, let's say, your opportunity gives you a lot of flexibility with the schedule, where, let's say, you don't have to sign up for, like, maybe they let you sign up for shifts where it's not like a set schedule, and you just say, okay, I'm available for this, I'm available for that. You don't want to be that person who is only signs up for an event once a month. You don't want to be that person. You want to be that person who signs up for pretty much everything. So put in the extra work, the extra hours, because it's going to help you stand out. You're going to get more experience, more exposure, more people are going to know you, and that is going to be really important in this industry. Tip number 7, and it's not going to be your favorite. Do not expect to get great pay. Yes, I know you think sports, it's a multi-million, billion-dollar industry. Yeah, it is, but not for you. Not for you, I'm sorry. It isn't. Do not expect great pay. It's like I was saying before, there are so many people. Sports is not only competitive on the field, but competitive in the business sector. There are so many people who want to work in sports. And that means that they feel like they can pay you less, because somebody is going to want that job. So this is not the industry that you want to get into if you're expecting to just go out there and become a sales manager and make 6 figures. This is not that industry. You are not going to make that money. The only people who are really making great money are the people who get really high up, maybe the VPs or the presidents or the CEOs, the owners of the teams. They make great money. All of us down here, who are, just employees, normal employees, the full-time sales representative, I'm sorry, you're not gonna make that type of money. So just understand that we have a saying in sports, is that we don't get into it for the money, you get into it because you love it. And that's really true for sports. You're not doing it for the money. You're doing it because you love it and because it's entertaining and it's fun and you want to be a part of something cool. So just understand that if that's what you're trying to get into this industry for, want to go ahead and find a different industry. Tip number 8, also not a fun one. Sorry guys, I gotta be real with you. Expect to work long work weeks. Very long work weeks. I know people think about like nurses and doctors as like that one great example of where you're gonna have to work these crazy long work weeks, and nobody has told you yet that sports is another one of those industries. Yeah, I'm letting you know right now, sports is another one of those industries. You will work 55, 60-hour work weeks minimum typically. Sometimes you're working 70-hour work weeks. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of time that you are putting in because you have to think about it. Not only are you gonna have to come in full time during the week, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or whatever it is that your team requires you to do. So you're already gonna get your 40 or 45-hour work week in that way, which is, your typical job. Well, are you thinking about game day? So game days, let's say that you're doing some industry where game days are only on Saturdays. Okay, that might make sense. Well, you still gotta come in during the week and put in your 40 to 45 hours during the week. And then you're gonna come in on game day. And you don't just show up when the game is about to start or even an hour or 2 hours. No, you are showing up. For me, let's say my game was gonna start at 7 p.m., 7:30. That means I'm showing up to work at 2:30. So you're showing up 5-6 hours before the game is going to start to prepare and get things ready. And that's been the case in all of the jobs that I've worked, is that you're showing up 5-6 hours before the game is going to start so you can prep everything. Because think about it, there's sometimes a tailgate. Guess who has to set up that tailgate stuff? You do. There's tons of rehearsals that are going to happen beforehand, so you're showing up there early. And then after the game is over, you're not leaving. You're going to stay and you're going to clean up. And you're going to prepare your stats. You're going to make sure that you collect all of your tickets or your money, like whatever it is. You're going to be there a few hours extra. So you're going to put in a 10, 12-hour work day on game day. So now you're up to, 55, 60 hours already. Let's say you've got to go and do an event. For me, I would do lots of events. So I would have an event on Monday night after I already put in my hours during, my normal 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or whatever. Then I have to go and stay and go do an event from 6 to 8. So there's just tons of things. Maybe you're working in corporate sponsorships and the sponsor you're trying to get can only meet at 5:30, or you need to network with them at 6 p.m. You're gonna go and do that. So just understand you're gonna put in a lot of hours. We're starting to wind down. Here is tip number 9. Do not get too comfortable. So once you start to get into your routine, you might think, oh, I've got everything down. Maybe start to slack off, to get a little bit lazy. You don't want to do that because sports is so cutthroat, you guys. It is cutthroat. They will drop you like this. You won't see it coming, or maybe you won't see it coming. Maybe you won't know, or they're not gonna give you this notice. I've seen lots of people lose sport jobs, including myself, and it just happens like that. You don't see it coming. So just don't get comfy. Just know, you never want to stop looking for new opportunities, just like a normal job. If you could love your job, but just keep in mind, where do I want to go next? What am I trying to do next? Is this my end goal? Just keep in mind where you want to go next with your career, and just always be aware of what opportunity that you could take next if this isn't working out for you. So just don't get lazy with it. always keep your eye open for new opportunities, and make sure you're creating a great name for yourself for in case something does not work out where you are. And that brings me to my last and easily the most important tip for working in the sports industry, which is to network. Network, network, network. You cannot network enough in this industry. I think I mentioned it already before, but sports jobs don't really get posted online very much. I know you're probably thinking, yeah, I kept looking around and I can only find a few things and a few things there, and I know that there must be more. Well, that's true, but they don't need to post that online because they're going to hire from within, not only within their organization, but within their network of sports industry people that they know of. They're gonna try to hire someone who already works within their team, who knows about the team, who knows about the organization to help them move up. They're going to try to hire the person who they worked with, 5 years ago, who might be looking for another job in the sports industry, but they know them because they've already worked with them in sports. They're going to hire the friend or the sibling or the cousin or whatever of somebody who's already working within the organization. It's really referral based. So it is very hard to break into this industry if you do not know someone. It is really all about who you know in the sports industry. And if somebody tries to tell you different, they are lying to you. It is all about who you know in the sports industry. So you want to network. Get on LinkedIn. If you do not have a LinkedIn yet, what are you doing? Go get a LinkedIn, set yourself up, put your sports industry on there, start connecting with people on LinkedIn. Don't be afraid, connect with them. If you're trying to work for this football team, this soccer team, whatever, go ahead and try to connect with people on LinkedIn who work with that organization. Most people are nice and they'll connect with you. Start connecting. When you're volunteering, when you're working your part-time job or even your full-time job, meet new people. Go put your name out there. Shake their hands. If you have business cards, give them your business card. Talk to them. Try to exchange information. Let them know about you. Let them know, hey, I'm trying to come up in the sports world. Is there any advice you have for me? Just let them know. If you're actively looking, let them know. Yeah, I'm actively looking for something. Would you happen to know of any opportunities? Or I'd love it if you would keep me in mind if there's anything that ever comes up. Just network with them and try to get as many connections and know as many people as possible, because you never know when one of those people can help you out in the future. I've had quite a few sports jobs and none of them I got by applying to something online. I got all of them from knowing someone or from volunteering with an organization who hired me on from volunteering. So yeah, just network like crazy. All right, you guys, I hope that you found this video very informational and helpful. Good luck on your journey into sports, and really try to take what are these tips to heart and see, is sports really something that you want to get into? It is a lot of work. It can be stressful, it's cutthroat, it's a lot of hours. So just make sure that this is something you really want to do, that you want to be dedicated to, and once you have that figured out, then go for it for sure. All right, so if you found this video helpful, please give me a big thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more information like this. Talk to me down in the comments if there is something else you would like to know about sports, or just any questions that you might have for me. And if you would like to receive notifications for when I post a video, go ahead and hit that bell icon.